Hello everyone and welcome back. So in this video we're going to continue our Threejs series, and I am going to show you how you can create some scroll based animations using GreenSock library or GSAP and Threejs. So we're going to combine these two cool libraries and we're going to try and build something like what you see here, a part of my portfolio website, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But before we get started, I actually have a big announcement to make. My first online course is now available on Udemy and Skillshare. The topic of the course is on Webflow, and there is more than 25 hours of video there. I show you anything you need to know in Webflow to build amazing websites. By the end of the course, you will have a portfolio website for yourself built professionally, where you can showcase your projects and all you can do in Webflow to your clients or your recruiters. So please go ahead and check out these courses. I'm gonna put a link to both of them on the description box below this video. The Udemy course is highly discounted, as you can see, and also Skillshare, you get a 30-day free access to all this course and all the other courses on Skillshare. So I really appreciate your support on this channel and also through my online courses and all. If you have suggestions for any other courses, I also have a link to a form in the description box below this video, where you can let me know what type of courses you want me to work on, and I really appreciate that as well. Also, if you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button below and don't forget to turn the notification bell on, because as I continue creating new videos and online courses, I want you guys to be the first to know about it. And again, thanks a lot for your support. All right, let's get started. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the GitHub repo, get the starter code for this video, and I'll put the link to this repo in the description box below also, so you can get it. And this is basically the final code from the previous video, and so you can just click on code here, clone it, or download the zip file. I have downloaded the zip file and I have it open here in VS Code. First thing you need to do when you open the project in VS Code, open the folder in VS Code, you need to do npm space install to install all the packages. I've already done that. And then once that's done, we're gonna do npm space start to start our dev server. You see all these folders and files over here. This package.json for npm start, that's our dev server. And if you don't know what these files and folders are, please go check out the channel. I'll also put some links during the video on the top right corner that you can go and check out the related videos to this one. So once the dev server is up and running, we can go to localhost 3000, and you should be able to see the home page over here. All the Threejs work that we've been doing is under the Threejs page, and when we go there, you should be able to see this sphere geometry that we have created in the previous video. And it has a hover effect right now, and also if you click and hold, it's gonna like scale up, and then if you let go, it's gonna kind of explode into particles. We're gonna start with some text animations, scroll based text animations, and then we'll do all this hover effect and also the explosion using again scrolling instead of clicking or hovering. So first thing, we're gonna do something similar to this to have our some text animation. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make some changes to the pog file, also the css file, our styling, and then we'll start working on the javascript side. So under the views folder, under pages, there is this Threejs.pog which has all the HTML stuff for this page right here. So if I refresh the page, you'll see that I have like, let's see some cool Threejs stuff. So it's here, and then the link to the homepage. I'm gonna change some stuff here, and basically this is how we're gonna change it, but we're gonna change it to some div blocks and also some text basically. And again, I will post a link to the final code after the video is done in the description box below as well, so you can take a look at that for more details on the HTML side and also the styling side, because that's not the focus here. So I made some changes to my pog file, and also I'm gonna make some changes to the SCSS file. Basically that you can find it under styles. That's where all our styles are. Under pages, under Threejs, I have Threejs.scss. And again, if you don't know what these files and folders are, go check out my very first or second video where I talk about the Webpack boilerplate and I explain all these things. So we're gonna save this here right now. We have the pog and CSS files there. So let's check out how the website looks like right now. So we have the hover effect obviously is there, but I changed the text. I have like my name, cat lover, and a couple of other text here. As you can see, all that we have added here. And the next thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to give these opacity of 0 because originally we don't want to see them. So this is going to be opacity 0 for our intro content and also for my text 3 wrapper. We'll see why I have like these text 3s inside one wrapper and the other two are at the same level as the wrapper. I can actually show you the idea is the same as what we have here. So originally when I go into this page, the name and the cat lover is gonna just come in and then we scroll and the rest will show up. So that's the idea. The first two are gonna come in as we load the page and the rest of it are gonna be scroll based. So let's save this one. Opacity of 0 I've added to that, and then going back to localhost again, the text should be gone, and it is gone. So we're gonna go to app folder under our pages, under Threejs here, index.3js. So we are under pages, Threejs index.js. We have animate in and out for the page content, but here I'm just gonna comment these out because we're gonna do the animation in the other file. So I'm gonna comment this out and this out. I'm gonna save it, and then under canvas, same folder, app folder, under canvas, under Threejs, we have this index.js file which is all the Threejs related stuff. So I'm gonna open that, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a function here to set up all these scroll animations. And then let's go down here below this create sphere particles. I'm gonna start defining this function, and first thing I'm gonna do is just a basic GSAP timeline. I'm gonna bring in the text, text1 and text2, which is like my name and this cat lover text, and that's basically it. So this is GSAP stuff. So if you don't know details, I'll put some links in the description box below so that you can go and check it out. But basically we're gonna bring the opacity to 1, and then we're gonna bring them from right and left of the screen, and we should be able to see that in a moment here in localhost 3000. So as you can see, yes, the text, the first one coming from left and the second one coming from right. And then now we don't want to be able to scroll when these two are appearing. So what I mean by that, right now I can't scroll obviously. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to define a function here, onComplete, and that's also given by the GSAP GreenSock library. Once this animation is completed, I'm gonna allow scrolling, and then I'm gonna define that allow scroll function here. What is gonna happen is basically I will have a timeline. This time I have a scroll trigger on my Threejs intro, which is like this top level class, and I'm gonna start it when the top of this class hits the top of viewport. We're gonna do pinning because that's how we're gonna be able to kind of like scroll in place without having like a scrollable screen, because as you can see here in the CSS file, the height is only 100 viewport height, and in order to be able to scroll, we're gonna pin it. Again, this is some scroll trigger property that GreenSock gives us, and it's very useful. And we're gonna do it for 3 times window inner height, and then what I'm doing here is basically bringing in the other text as I scroll. So it's not super complicated. Go ahead and take a look at the final code and you'll see what's happening. We also need to bring in the GreenSock library, the scroll trigger part, which this is how we do that, and we need to register that plugin. So I'm going to save it here, and if we go back to our Threejs page here under localhost 3000, so that's the first step. And then as I scroll, you can see we bring in the rest, and then kind of like each of them disappear to right, and then that's it. So that's basic scroll based animation. And again, all that was the appearing of the original 2 lines. The let me just show you again the first 2 lines, like my name and the cat lover. That part was what we have here in the timeline that we have here, and once that is completed, we're gonna allow scroll, and that scroll is gonna take care of the rest of scrolling, which I'm gonna do right now. So I'm scrolling, the text one by one appear and then disappear until I hit the end. So that's some easy scroll based animation only for text. But now we're gonna combine this GSAP with our Threejs stuff, with our object there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna first move my camera a little bit further back. Again, I mentioned this before, but if you don't know what these are, go ahead and check out the video that I have on introduction to Threejs, and I explain all these things, and I put some links up over here as well. So now I have moved my camera further from the object over there. The next thing I'm gonna do on rotate on scroll, I am going to define actually a new div block here, kind of to add some scrollable section to my page. I'm gonna just call it a div Threejs story, and then I'm gonna give it some height in the CSS file. I'm gonna give it like 200 viewport height so that I can scroll there after we're done with the text. And then here, let me Control Z. So after my timeline for the text scrolling, I'm gonna add another timeline for this Threejs story, the new div that I added. That's gonna be a new scroll trigger for that. And this time I'm gonna work on my Threejs stuff. Specifically, I have this camera position, so I'm gonna move the position to Z of 5. As you remember, we had a 5 here. I changed it to 50, so at the load time it's gonna be further away. And then as I scroll through, the text is gone now, and then the next scroll is gonna bring the camera closer to my object. So as you can see, I'm scrolling and the object is moving. And if you scroll back up, the whole process is gonna be like repeated backwards. So that's also a cool thing about GSAP library. So we currently have a problem since we added the other section for scroll for the that object to move closer to us. When this thing is loading the page, basically these two are coming from right and left. If I start scrolling at the moment they're coming in, you see like we had some something that we didn't want to have. Like I could scroll and these two kind of like scrolled out of screen. I'm gonna do that again here. So as they're coming in, I scrolled. So we want to avoid that. So in order to avoid that, I'm gonna make this new div block that I have, Threejs story, display none. And then after I enable scrolling here, I'm going to add a GSAP.set for that Threejs story and make the display block. So it's not gonna exist when the animation is happening, the entry animation. Once the animation is complete, we're gonna allow that scroll, and then that means we're gonna set the display of that to block and the rest of the scroll based animation. So right now if I go back over here, while they're coming in, I'm gonna try and scroll. So see, I couldn't, and then after that I can do, and I can see my object also coming close to me. And the next thing I'm gonna do is on my update here, I'm gonna comment out this rotation, so you can see right now it's rotating. You can see the color changing. It's because the sphere is rotating. And back in my timeline over here for the after the camera position, I'm going to add a rotation for my object here. So I'm gonna rotate it 180 degrees as I scroll. So we're just tagging different twos to my timeline. So I'm gonna save this, and back here, let it refresh. And now, in addition to, if I keep scrolling, I have the zoom in, and also it's not rotating. You see, like, the coloring is green and purple on the side, and then as I scroll, it's now rotating. You see the green and purple color. And then we can keep adding to this. Now I'm gonna add a position movement also on a scroll. And so if I save it now, I'm moving it up by 1 unit. So as I'm scrolling, the object is gonna get closer to me, and then now it's rotating. And once the 180-degree rotation is done, it's gonna move up by 1 unit. So as you scroll up, that's gonna reverse, and then scrolling down, you saw that movement up. If you want this up movement happen at the same time as the rotation, you can add this extra property to this object position for GSAP that makes it happen at the same time as the previous animation. So let's save it and take a quick look over here. So I have my text stuff working fine, and then this one, zoom in, and then the rotation, look at the coloring, the colors, and also the movement is gonna happen at the same time. So it is rotating and also going up. Okay, so that's that. Then we can make it a little bit more exciting. Now, before I do that, real quick down here, what is causing this animation on the hover is what we have done in one of the previous videos. It's on mouse move here. So exactly what we do here, we're using Threejs Raycaster to detect the intersect, and then after that, if we have the intersect, we are setting the uHover state of the material to 1. So this is again shader materials, and I have a few videos about them as well. In fact, this thing here is exactly what we've done in one of the previous videos, so go ahead and check that out if you don't know. But what we're gonna do is just like tag this to this scroll animation that we have. So I'm gonna add that. So this is exactly what we have: material uniforms uHover state, which is exactly what we have here. We're gonna set it to 1 on scroll. So I'm gonna comment out this move here only on scroll after we have the camera position, object rotation, and object position animations done. We're gonna have the hover effect happen, but on a scroll this time, not on actual hover. So since we disabled the hover, you can see I'm hovering and nothing's happening. So I'm gonna scroll. This first scroll is for zooming in, for camera position. The second scroll is combination of moving this and rotating this, as you can see here. And once that's over, the next scroll is gonna be this effect. So I'm doing this effect on scrolling up and down, and that's what we just did. There's no hover effect anymore. So as I scroll up, I'll go back, and as I scroll down, you can basically see that happening. And then the next thing we're gonna do, we also have a click effect here. So if I click, hold, and let go, it's gonna have like that explosion effect. So for that, we're gonna also do that on scroll. So the mouse down event here was the click and hold. We don't want to do that. We don't want to like make it scale up to as 2 times, but we do want to scale it down and then show our stars material, which is our particles. Again, in the previous video I've explained it, so go check that out. I also put a link up here so you guys know what I'm talking about. So exactly what we have here, these twos here, and that's exactly what I'm gonna tag to the end of what we have already here. So I'm gonna bring them over here. So the object, scaling of the object that you use, and the use scaling the stars material, which is our particles. And that's exactly what we had on mouse up here. I'm also gonna comment these mouse up and down events because I want everything to be on scroll. So let's check it out over here. Our text entry is good. Then I'm scrolling. First step is the zoom, and then the second one is rotation and move up, and then the next one is the hover effect that we had. And then as I scroll, I'm gonna scale it down to 0 and scale my particles up. So this whole thing can also be reversed as you scroll up. So scrolling down is the action, the actual action, and now everything on a scroll up is gonna be reversed. So that's basically a conclusion to this video. I hope you guys learned a few things about GSAP and Threejs, how you can combine them to create these kind of amazing scroll based animations. So feel free to play with this, and again, I'll put the link to the final code also in the description box below, so make sure to check that out. If you liked the video, please make sure to hit the like button, and also if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on. And thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.